I can't hear anything, guys.
It is 1:30. Can you hear George?
Now I can hear you, yeah.
I didn't get that.
Oh, please. My Siri asked me, she didn't get it either. So, okay. We start out with public, this is May 5th, 2020, 1:30 p.m. We start out with public comment. If you have public comment to make, please do so at this time. Okay, do we have any from the audience?
On this my table.
We have a public comment from David Baldwin.
Go ahead, please.
I am requesting that a resolution be added at this technical review meeting for a vote at the regular council meeting on May 12th to rescind the state of emergency declaration and return the city's governing decisions to the duly elected city council as defined by the Mesquite City Charter. There is no apparent daily requirement for the city manager to retain the authority to make governing decisions duly empowered to the city council. The Emergency Operations Center should remain operational, which can occur without an emergency declaration under standard management rules given to the city manager under the authority of the city charter. End of comment.
Okay. Do we have any other public comment?
There are no others.
Okay, we'll then go to our consent agenda. Items 2.1, consideration. Yeah, please.
If I may, do we want to consider adding that to the agenda?
We certainly could. I don't see any problem with it at this point. We need a motion. Councilman Worston? You want to discuss that first?
I would make a motion.
Okay. Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, we do have a second to that motion. Call for the vote, please.
Rapson, aye.
Mr. Goldstein, which one? Raymaker? Nay. Black? Aye. Worston? Aye. Rapson? Aye.
Yep.
Okay, so that is a 3-1. It passes. Okay. All right. Okay. So we got. Okay. Now, consideration for approval of Tuesday, May 12, 2020 regular city council meeting agenda and the Tuesday, April 21st, 2020 technical review meeting minutes. Any comment from anybody on that? Item 2.2, consideration approval of notification.
We do have a public comment for 2.1.
On 2.1?
Yes. We have a public comment from David Baldwin. Due to the modified public comment procedures and the difficulties authorizing timely comments with the compliance of the video time delay, this comment is authored before any item discussions. I object to any attempt to remove or table agenda 5.1 from this technical review meeting and the May 12th regular city council meeting. This agenda item infers misconduct by our city attorney by the mere request for authorization to hire outside counsel. The issue requires a full public discussion and the opportunity of Bob Sweeten to defend his position that his candidacy does not violate any legal rules or regulations. It is entirely improper to ring this bell and then say, never mind. End of comment.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're still back to 2.1. Was there any comment on 2.1?
No additional comments.
No additional comment. Okay. Item 2.2, consideration of approval of notification of budget transfers, notification of budget amendments, notification of bills paid, and purchase orders. Any comment? Any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay. Okay, item 3.1 is proclamation, Kids to Parks Day, May 16th, 2020. Item 3.2 is a proclamation, Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day, May 16th, 2020. Item 3.3, consideration of resolution 1015 approving interlocal agreement between the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and the City of Mesquite for the Motorola P-25 radio system. Any comment from council?
No public comment.
No e-comment. Okay. Item 3.4, consideration of resolution 1016 for approving interlocal agreement between Clark County and the City of Mesquite for the Scenic Tank Communications Site. Any comment?
No public comment.
Okay. Item 3.5 is consideration of resolution 1018, a resolution establishing a special revenue fund known as Grant Funding Special Revenue Fund for the City of Mesquite and other matters related properly thereto. Comment from council.
No public
No
comment.
public comment. Okay. Item 3.6, consideration for approval of resolution 1019, a resolution of the City of Mesquite, Nevada, creating the COVID-19 Special Revenue Fund. Comment from council. Any ecom?
No public comment.
Okay. 3.7, consideration for approval of resolution 1020, an interlocal agreement between Clark County and the City of Mesquite for the Mesquite Police Department Special Response Team ballistic helmet and communications equipment. And those are numbered CFDA 16.738, 2018 DJ-BX-0468. Any comment from council? Any
No
pub-
public comment.
Okay, no e-comment? Okay. All right. We're down to mayor's comments and reports. I have no comment at this time to be made. City council comments? Staff report. And we do have a staff report that we're going to deliver right now.
Oh, so go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council, Jason Andrus for the record. Just want to update everyone on our progress with community-based testing. Met with Southern Nevada Health District this morning and procured 500 test kits. We anticipate testing our first responders and healthcare facilities this Thursday, starting May 7th. Following that, we will begin public testing on May 12th, every Tuesday and Thursday for the short-term future until we decide that can be concluded. We have established a service line with our health district and appreciate their help in this process. Test results, based on their information from this morning's meeting, results will take 4 days to be reported back to those individuals. That is a little longer than anticipated, but we're pleased with this process. Going to help answer any questions.
Council, go ahead.
So we're going to test our first responders. We're not going to have results for 4 days. We might test them then, they get it 2 days later or 5 days later. How does this help really? I mean,
So, thank you, Councilwoman. It is a spot check. This is not the end all be all. This is not antibody testing that they've been exposed to it. The only test this gives us results for are whether or not the particular individual has COVID-19 at this particular time. There is nothing precluding them from contracting it 10 minutes later, the next day, or the following days. We do feel this is a for our community, though, to begin the recovery process and for companies to be able to test employees to feel comfortable and for the public to feel comfortable getting back to as normal as possible. But that statement must be emphasized, like you just said. There's nothing stopping it from getting used.
how often do you anticipate to get tests or?
We're picking up an additional 300. So we started out with 300 today, and we received an additional 200 already today. So we're at 500 total count. We're receiving an additional 300 this Thursday. And we anticipate every Tuesday and Thursday when we drop off the test results, we'll have a courier going down to Southern Nevada Health District, and we have asked 100 every time we drop off a test kit. So to answer your question, 600 tests per week.
And you feel confident with that?
As much as I can at this time, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may. Jason, so I'm clear, are we testing everybody irrespective of symptoms, or are we just testing those who exhibit symptoms?
Thank you, Councilman. At this time, those with symptoms are priority number one. We do believe, though, that we have very limited individuals in our community with symptoms. So we will open that up to healthcare providers and first responders without symptoms. We anticipate as early as next Tuesday, opening that up to all individuals over the age of 65 without symptoms that want to be tested. But we're going to have to step it down one day at a time in an effort to try to answer your question more effectively. We are going to be testing people without symptoms within the next week to 2 weeks, Councilman. But before that, it will be based on age and symptomology and essential personnel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor?
Thank
Mayor? Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, this is George Scalds. I just want to let you know I'm on the call.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Location will be the Archon building. Aaron, please, is it 630 West Hafen Lane? 830 West Hafen Lane, excuse me. And we will be drafting up a press release and a video of the actual test here in the next 24 hours to release out to the public.
Excellent. Make sure when you do that, Jason, that because a lot of people have never heard of the Archon building, that they know it's adjacent to the Mesquite Veterans Center, then they'll know where it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Okay. NRS 28.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm speaking as a staff.
oh, okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh.
I saw the light up there. I thought you said okay. Just to reiterate, next Tuesday night, we will have open public here. We will be taking temperatures to those who come. We will see 10 at a time at this moment in the chamber, in the audience, to do public comment. Hopefully we can use the corridor as overflow. They'll come in that first door and come in this way. We will have a line where they can stop in front of the microphone without touching it. I'll also have a little sign, please do not touch the mic, because the mic will cover what they have, and say their piece, and they can exit that way. If they need to come back for another comment, as far as if they do one on one subject, they will have to come back for the second topic. So to keep that 10 or less in our audience. This is all new to us, so we get questions all the time. So that's what we're trying to do here next Tuesday night at 5 o'clock. And I impress that if we hopefully have people start coming in at 4, only because if they wait till the last minute, we're starting the meeting and they still wouldn't be in. So that's our big things. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Are you still gonna do the virtual meeting, part of it where the e-comments and obviously the online video, but e-comments, you'll still have that available to the public? I think that's public to know.
Our agenda.
Okay. NRS 281A-420 requires me to disclose a conflict of interest. The matter before this body affects my commitment in a private capacity as a candidate for mayor of the city of Mesquite in the 2020 election. Agenda item 5.1 affects another mayoral candidate, so I conclude that the independence of judgment of a reasonable person in my situation would be materially affected by this relationship. Because of this is a clear case of a disqualifying conflict of interest, I'm going to be abstaining from voting or discussing anything in this matter, and I will turn the meeting over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 5.1, direction to the city manager to engage outside legal counsel to draft letter to city attorney Robert D. Sweeten, placing on notice of potential violation of Mesquite Municipal Code section 1-6-2-8. And since I have some comments on this, I'd like to make right now or discuss, not discuss, but just get some clarification. I'm going to start. So I wanted to start by saying, number one, I think this agenda item needs to change. The cover letter absolutely needs to change on this. Because right now it says city manager to engage outside legal counsel. It's already been done. Already engaged the legal counsel. They're already working on this. So I would ask, please, that we change the cover letter to read approval of continued engagement by Sandra Romaker to include city council in writing a letter to Bob Sweeten. I think that's an important piece because number one is I do not want to be, especially where we've laid off people and everything like this, I don't want to have my name or any way associated with spending money on something like this that is, I think, 100% frivolous when we've got people that are wanting to eat and want to have jobs and the other part of this is the mayor was not included in this, and he has 2 city jobs. He has to be included. If he is not, it is very possible that it violates another NRS code that actually this other IRS, listen to me. I can tell you, I need to file my taxes. NRS code that point blank could be an ethics violation, and I don't want to be a party to that too, because it says the NRS 281A 520 prohibits the expenditures of public funds by a public employee or public officer to oppose candidate for office. Now, where we're only picking one person in this, I want to be very, very clear that this is not something that I am doing myself. So, Aaron, I really want you to talk to Sandra and change that so it reads that way, because at this point we need people to know that attorneys have been engaged on already and that we are expending money already on this. So that takes care of the ethics issue. The other question I have is I don't know what the end game is on this. And Sandra, I'd kind of like to know what the end game is on this, because if we end up with 2 candidates that can't run, are we going to spend, I don't know, what does it cost, Tracy, for a special election? It's over 100,000, isn't it?
Oh, no, based on the last time, what the ballot question would be when we had the clean air, it would be about $11,000.
11,000.
11,000 based on the number of. Hold on there. Sandy, is that you? And based on the number of registered voters, active registered voters, and that's the number that we'd have to use. And then, yeah, it would be over 10,000 easy.
Okay, so I don't know. I guess I'm asking you what the end game, without having discussion. I just want to know what the end game is on what you're trying to do. I know that I sat down with both Mr. Sweeten and the mayor, and they're both very gracious as we discussed the possibility of a problem on this already with both of them. They both felt like they could run, and they both felt like this wasn't an issue because they felt like they were exempt from this. They both are very, very aware of that. We met with Gina Mendez and myself and each one of them individually. So this was already discussed. So can you explain to me what your end game is on this?
Okay. My whole understanding with this, when we had this discussion, was there was still concern and questions about this. And we have both an NRS, we have an ordinance, and we have a charter. And all 3 of them are conflicting with each other. And we have people, citizens that want to know what is the answers. And no answers have ever been given to the public or to anybody else. And questions keep getting asked. And before we were ever able to bring it to the public and have a discussion, we were shut down. And so when I brought this before, and asked about it being put on the agenda. It was suggested that we talk to the same attorneys, and these are the same attorneys that we had when we had this discussion before. And this is the way they suggested that this be brought forward to best handle this, to have it covered so that we could have this discussion and have it covered properly and be able to have those questions all answered to the satisfaction, to where any questions could be brought up and an explanation to cover all of those issues.
Okay, well, we're not in the discussion stage of that. We'll have a lot to say about that next Tuesday. Any other comments on this item?
I agree with Brian that I don't want my name on this.
Can that be changed, Aaron? Sandra, I think that needs to be changed. The cover letter needs to be changed to that so that it doesn't include us as far as that and that it shows that we've already engaged an attorney. I think that's paramount for the public to know that.
Yeah, and I've asked staff to provide the estimate of what the total cost of engaging an attorney on this thing is, including the new attorney, which is Mr. Barr. My understanding, I don't believe we talked to him. So we've got two attorneys involved, I believe. And at the point in a financial crisis, we're kind of pissing away money here. And I just like to make sure that I'm not part of that, and make sure that there's a quantified dollar amount that says, okay, if we go to a special election, that's 10,000 plus. If the attorneys are involved, that's 10,000 plus. What is the number and how much are we doing? How much are we spending on this? I would like to know that as well.
Yeah, having her change it is one thing, but you know what? It needs to reflect correctly, and this does not reflect correctly. It needs to be correct when it comes through. Sandra, do you have an opposition to us changing it to that?
I'm trying to look up.
Do you want me to read what I said again?
On here. No, I'm looking to see what it says on here that it actually asked for it to be.
You're looking for a lifeline. It says to engage outside counsel, and he's suggesting that it be to continue the engagement of outside counsel.
What I'd like it to read is approval of continued engagement by Samar Ramaker to include city council, so that it puts us in at that point in writing a letter to Bob Sweeten. That's all I'm asking, is that it shows that we were not involved in the engagement of council to this point.
That's fine.
Will you change that, Aaron? Okay, any other questions on this? Mayor, you can come back, or we can. Oh, yeah, public comment on this issue, sorry.
We have a public comment from Ashley Oliver, and it says, I absolutely think this needs to be addressed. End of comment. We have a public comment from Wes Boger, and it begins, Mayor and Council, I am Wes Boger. I faced a similar choice as Mr. Sweeten when I was mulling over a run for City Council. I was employed by the City of Mesquite as a crossing guard up until I filed for Mesquite City Council seat 5 on March 5th. I chose to comply with the City Code 1-6-2. I am also Mesquite Police Department volunteer for Project Watchdog. I continued helping students with the crosswalk as a volunteer in that capacity. I did so because I read the code. It is in black and white. I did not think such a clear code in plain English would require interpretation by an attorney, as it is pretty simple. It reads, quote, no employee of the city or officer thereof, excluding city council members, receiving compensation under the provisions of this code or any city ordinance, shall be a candidate for or eligible for the office of council member or mayor without first resigning from city employment or city office, end of quote. Maybe I misunderstood it. I interpreted this to mean, quote, no employee of the city shall be a candidate for or eligible for the city office of council or mayor without first resigning from city employee, end of quote. What am I missing? Again, I chose to comply with our municipal code. I wanted to make sure if I did get elected, my qualifications for candidacy weren't questioned due to me being employed by the city. Weeks after I resigned my position to run for city office, the school district shut down. My former coworkers have now been laid off and are eligible for unemployment. Because I followed city code and resigned, I am not eligible. This is not a position on Mr. Sweeten's job as our city attorney or him personally. However, I do feel all city codes and laws should be applied equally. Finally, if the code is somehow deemed no longer necessary, it is up to the council to repeal it. This cannot be done so retroactively. Thank you. End of comment. And there is a comment from Jackie Allred, and it states, how is it that it's taken this long to address this issue? Why was this not addressed the day he submitted his candidacy? One would think that running for an elected position would mean you'd be willing to abide by the laws that are in the books, not try to bend the laws in his favor because it's an older law that you don't agree with. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that his actions have been allowed and he's been allowed to be placed as an official candidate. If this isn't addressed with the city, I think the next step should be to the county and the state election boards. End of comment. No further comments.
Any other public comment? I would ask each and every one of them to make sure that they're here next week so a lot of this can be explained so that they understand, but we're not in discussion stages right now. So please bring your comments and make sure you're here next week.
If I may, I do have a question regarding that comment. If I'm permitted to ask, was this brought up at the time that the candidate filed? So you didn't ask him or know he was a city employee or?
No, I did not.
Would you normally do that?
No.
So how do we know people are complying with the rules and
Because
eligible?
they take an oath when they declaration of candidacy. They are given a complete pamphlet. They know what to look for, both in the charter and if they had any problem or if somebody else had any problem to do that, then it should be brought up.
So the candidate took an oath that he met
It's
the
the
criteria?
same one you did, remember, on your declaration of candidacy?
No, that was years ago, but I'm just clarifying. The candidate took an oath that he met the criteria.
Yeah, that everything he is signing up for is the truth.
Okay, thank you.
Martina, I understood that there's another comment by Mr. Ballweg. Is that right?
I will check just a moment. Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is a public comment by David Ballweg. Due to the modified public comment procedures and the difficulties authoring timely comments with the complication of the video time delay, this comment is authored before any item discussions. There is no knowledge in this community of a previous city council attorney-client meeting concerning the issue of Bob Sweeten's eligibility to be a candidate for mayor of the city of Mesquite. This knowledge is not by breach of any attorney-client confidentiality by any participant. In mid-March, a meeting was held in an occupied city facility. There were witnesses to the arriving participants of the city manager, personnel director, mayor, city council, and a known attorney. I have two questions for Councilwoman Raymaker. Number one, will you please confirm or deny any attorney has already been engaged in mid-March for this exact issue? Number two, since there is substantial evidence that an attorney has been engaged since mid-March, please defend the deceptive nature of the agenda item's subject text that infers this is a new directive to the city manager. End of comment. There are no further comments.
No other comments? Okay, I don't know that the mayor's here, so at this point, then we're done. Is he still in there? You want to come in and say we're done?
Microphone. No, we are done. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh. And we do have final public comment.
We have a final comment from Ashley Oliver. I had more to add to agenda item 5.1, but couldn't figure out how to edit my comment. It troubles me to hear that Bob is encouraging his friends to oppose this agenda item. If he truly believed he was not in violation of the city code, he should be willing to let unbiased outside counsel review the code and draw the same conclusion. End of comment. No further comments.
Can I make public comment on that one?
I think you can make public comment.
I believe so.
Yeah. Bob Sweeten, I think I'm public comment on this because I think we have two attorneys on the line who are representing the city for this issue. So I don't think I'm the attorney on this one. I am not encouraging anybody, and I have not encouraged anybody to make any sort of comment related to this agenda item that is inaccurate. I will have more to say next Tuesday. I'm happy to discuss it. I will say that before I did sign up to run, I did engage an attorney. He provided an opinion that was a well-respected campaign attorney in this state. I was asked by Councilman Worston after the council originally raised this issue, whether I felt there was an issue with my candidacy or the mayor's candidacy. I said there wasn't. I didn't think there was based on this ordinance. I'm happy to talk more about that Tuesday night. But certainly I encourage anyone who has any concerns about this at all to come to council meeting and speak up on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, this meeting is closed. Thank you.